All right, time for a funny personal story. Back in the day, I would go on Facebook sometimes. I don't really do that anymore. I don't think anyone under 30 tends to go on Facebook very often, but I would go on, I would follow political meme pages, both on the left and on the right, but probably more on the right because I like to hear what the other side was saying. And sometimes they would post some really funny non political news that actually I really enjoyed. So, yeah, I'm like, okay, the right wing meme pages, how are they going to react when Trump loses the election? I was curious about that, the 2020 election. This was back in the day. And so Trump lost the election by 7 million votes. And I'm like, are they going to be introspective? Are they going to actually take some shots at the way Trump ran his campaign? And no, the answer is they did not. They made all the memes about, oh, the Biden's line went up overnight, the blue line, Biden's votes just went up overnight. This is really sketchy. This is sussy. It was rigged. And, posting stuff like, how could people vote for someone like that? He's so boring. This election had to be rigged. Biden's a boring guy. There was some post that was like, replacing Trump with Biden is like replacing a rock star with a pet rock. And then, yeah, someone was like, okay, this guy barely even sounds like he's alive, and you're telling me he won by 7 million votes. And so I responded in the comments. I was like trying to talk some sense into them. I don't know why I did this. I didn't know if it would work, but it did not. I said, well, look, people, it's not so much about loving Biden. It's not so much about being a Biden supporter per se, as it is about, I think this is a better direction for our country. And the idea that 7 million people thought Biden would be the better direction for the country after 4 years of Trump, especially during the 2020 pandemic and the economic problems, it's kind of predictable. It's understandable. They don't love Biden. They don't feel enthralled when he speaks. In fact, they probably get bored when he speaks, or they laugh at some of his gaffes. But they're like, yeah, no, I'll vote for that, even if I don't consider myself a Biden supporter and I'm not going around wearing some Biden hats. And these people were not having it. They were not giving any serious responses whatsoever, not engaging with the points. It was just, oh, you voted for a pedophile. Let that sink in, you retard. That was an actual comment someone made. I love that. As if Donald Trump, there's no evidence of him being a pedophile. As if there's not more evidence of Donald Trump being a pedophile than Joe Biden. And I love the let that sink in attitude. Like, oh, shoot. Oh, I voted for a pedophile. Oh, wow. And then lastly, of course, I didn't even tell them that I voted for Biden. I didn't even tell them that. I just gave them something to think about, something to chew on, about this election and the results. And they're like, you voted for Joe Biden. He's a pedophile. You're a retard. Let that sink in. So, yeah, they do not engage seriously with points. I think the moral of the story is that, okay, if you're going on the internet and trying to seriously argue with people, you are probably going to be unsuccessful. People just like acting like it's a middle school cafeteria, particularly on X, actually. But Facebook is not much better. Facebook is just a cesspool of right-wing boomers and misinformation. Of course, it's gotten even worse since 2020 and 2021, which is when I was doing this. But yeah, I would try and talk some sense into people on the tax policy too. Trump's tax bill that he signed at the end of 2017. I would use links. I would use studies on how it would outsource jobs and how the bulk of the tax cuts are not going to you if you're in the middle class or you're poor. It's going to the uber wealthy. It's going to the uber wealthy. They would say, oh yeah, people just voted to have their own taxes raised. That's just ridiculous. And so I'm like, well, Biden said he's not going to raise taxes on people making over $400,000 a year. Also, Trump effectively is going to end up raising taxes on you. And he's cutting taxes for the wealthy. And I would show them the link and they would be like, you just don't like getting your taxes cut. Show me on the dollar where the tax cuts hurt you. That old meme. But I'm like, okay, my serious points aren't getting through to these people. Sometimes you gotta just have a little bit of fun with it. So one time they posted something about Mitt Romney. They love to disparage Mitt Romney on those pages. They love it. They think he's a cuck. They think he's a rhino. He's a cuck-servative. He lost to Obama and Trump beat Hillary, so that means Trump's better than Romney. But they posted something bashing Romney, and I came in there in the comments. I was like, this is going to piss them off so much. I said, Mitt Romney is a far better man than Donald Trump ever will be. And it got over 1,000 laugh reacts. 1,000 laugh reacts over that. And just people in the comments going absolutely insane, saying stuff like, Mitt Romney is not even a man to begin with, and neither are you. Like, oh, you got me. And someone was like, you have low testosterone. Like, you haven't heard my voice yet, have you? They were like, someone was asking, what are your pronouns? Like, okay. But the funny thing is, I don't think that's a controversial thing to say to anyone who's not a Trump supporter, that Mitt Romney is a better man than Trump. Even if you like Trump's policies more than Mitt Romney's, and you like that Trump sort of made Republicans more competent in elections than Mitt Romney did. Mitt Romney lost, obviously. You have to admit Romney's a better person than Trump, but they're like, no, we have to pretend that Trump is a great person too, and he's definitely not on the Epstein client list. Wink, wink. Yeah, no, he's on it. But Mitt Romney pisses them off, so yeah, troll them with the Mitt Romney thing. One time I said something about, Obama too. I think they hate Romney more than Obama, actually, because Romney's like a traitor in their eyes, and Obama was never on their side to begin with. But I posted something like, Barack Obama could beat Donald Trump in a fight because Donald Trump is fat and Barack Obama is fit. And someone came at me in the comments, they're like, oh yeah, well, Donald Trump doesn't smoke and Obama smokes, so Obama's lungs are going to be weaker than Trump's, and so Trump would win in a fight. I'm like, buddy, first of all, you have to take Trump's word for it that he doesn't smoke. He says, I've never smoked, or I've never drank alcohol. And it's like the guy's a constant liar. The guy just lies all the time. So really, do you actually believe him? He probably has. He's in his late 70s. Obama stopped smoking, he said, around 2008 during the campaign trail because Michelle Obama made him stop. But really? So the one time someone tries to seriously engage with one of my posts of say, arguing with me for saying, Obama could beat Trump in a fight, they bring up something really stupid and something that's probably false. Like, oh, Trump doesn't smoke and Obama smokes. So yeah, I guess if you want to get something serious out of these people, talk about a hypothetical cage match between, Democrats and Republicans, your politicians, see who could win in a fight, and then they'll actually entertain it. But yeah, I came to see pretty quickly that a lot of this stuff was, it was fruitless, that a lot of these people just don't want to hear opposing views. And you know what? It's kind of similar on the other side of the spectrum too. I've seen a lot of progressives fail to respond substantively to right-wingers who attack them, even though right-wingers just tend to be a lot more bad faith. But a lot of these Trump supporters, they look like the people who, are stereotypically associated with supporting Trump. You've probably seen that meme, those pictures of the guys in shades with beards and hats. It's like, yeah, no, I'm a tough guy. I voted for Trump. I'm a trucker or whatever. Trump's the best. Just the stereotype of the dude who votes Trump. The profile picture, he's probably in a car somewhere. But yeah, this was unfortunately not a very fruitful moment, but it was funny. Look, the internet is a fun thing to have, actually. It's a fun thing to have. You can engage with people across the world about politics. They're not going to engage with you seriously. They might just laugh their butt off. But you know what? It's all part of the show. It's all entertaining. I don't really argue politics on the internet that much anymore, in written form at least. I just took up a YouTube channel, which is always a great idea. Talk about politics on YouTube, put videos out there. You can make money. You can get people across the world to see you speak. And speaking is more efficient than writing, probably, and you get to have a tone of voice in there so people can tell when you're being sarcastic usually. People can tell, what you're really trying to get across. People can't straw man you quite so easily because they can hear you saying stuff rather than just infer a bunch of stuff from your writing. But yeah, Facebook is a cesspool of misinformation and far-right boomers. X actually used to be kind of a cesspool of liberalism, leftists, pro-Joe Biden types back in the 2020 election, neoliberals. Now it's been taken over by the far-right as well. Elon Musk has dominated X. He turned Grok into a Nazi. And so it seems like social media in general has shifted really far right. So it's good to have voices that are contrary to that mainstream right-wing narrative out there. So if you're a progressive leaning person, please consider getting off of Facebook, stop arguing with the boomers on Facebook, and start a YouTube channel. Start a YouTube channel where you can talk about politics, because you're probably going to be unsuccessful arguing with Trump supporters on Facebook. It might be tempting to give it a shot, but at the end of the day, they might just say, what are your pronouns? You voted for a pedophile, oh, you look like Mitt Romney, or something like that. But yeah, just don't waste time on social media arguing with people unless you just want some entertainment and maybe you've got a little too much time on your hands. Let's face it, back during the pandemic, a lot of us might have had a bit too much time on our hands, really, and so we engaged in some of those excesses that aren't really necessary and don't really get us anywhere, but they are funny in hindsight. Funny stories in hindsight. I hope that you enjoyed this funny story. I might do some more of these videos, personal stories, personal humorous stories that I don't do too much of on this channel, and mostly I focus on the serious stuff, real life news, stuff outside myself. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. Tell me about some of your stories engaging with Trump supporters on social media and what it's like. Thank you so much for watching. This is the more the merrier, and I will speak to you in my next video.